We're on. Well, welcome. Hi, folks. Welcome to today's webinar of Bob Benny Wealth Management. I'm Bob Benny.
And I'm Hillary Saunders.
Hillary's been with us for about a year. Y'all have been watching Jesse and I for a year and a half or so do these webinars, and Jesse's hasn't been here at the office here for about a month, and we're not sure when she's coming back.
It's hard.
Oh, here she is. This is what she's been busy doing. Have a seat, honey.
Center stage.
So who's this?
Well, this is Cody. And the reason for the surprise is because I've been gone, but also the subject of today's webinar is building a strong financial future, family financial planning. And since we're on the subject of family, this is our newest member of our family. This is Cody. Don't know if you can.
He's
got
his
he's
out of it. He's super duper cute when he's awake and when he's asleep. And what day was he born?
October 9th.
And he was, let me get this right, 7 pounds, 11 ounces, right?
Yeah, wow.
Yep. And how many grandsons does this mean your dad has now?
3.
3. I have Teddy and Arthur and now Cody, and we're gonna have a ball. So I love being a grandpa, and we just wanted to let y'all have a look at Jesse and Cody. And I don't know if anybody noticed when Jesse walked in here, but she already looks like she didn't even have a baby because she's so fit anyway. But I love you, and I love you, Cody, and thank you for coming in.
We love you too. We miss everybody, and we'll see you guys here in some more weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, honey. All right, so that worked out okay.
Yeah,
Kinda
so far so good. Yeah.
It made it look like it was just
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on back
Pressure,
in here.
yep.
Come on back in here, Hillary. So
So that's welcome to today's webinar.
yeah, and if you have any questions, you can somehow do the question thing. Jesse always tells everybody how to do it. Do you?
Yeah, there's a chat bar. On your end, you should see a chat bar that says messages or questions, and you can add all of those questions if you have them. We can go through them at the end.
Yeah, we'll try to answer them at the end if we remember to.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't run out. Yeah.
With an entrance like that, we're all excited. Yeah, if I even know how.
Hillary's trying to take Jesse's place.
Could be a few hiccups, but
yeah, we're gonna make it. So anyway, we're going to talk about some elements. Go ahead to that first slide of your family's financial plan, and a couple of main aspects that we're calling of family's financial plan. First is prosperity, that is building wealth, particularly for your children and grandkids, ultimately, and protection from financial catastrophe or from taxes, as you'll see in a little bit. So first, we're going to talk about planning for prosperity. And there we go. So there's a couple of different kinds of accounts for kids or grandkids. One of them is a custodial account. And a custodial account is it's the child's money, technically. Their social security number is attached to it.
keep talking.
And are you on the Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
There you go.
I just wanted to make sure I was sharing the right screen. There we go. That way we could see ourselves.
Okay.
Boom.
But we need to be in the full screen for the.
Yep.
Okay. So we're working it out. Next screen. There we go.
There we go. I just want to make sure I could see myself.
Anyway, these custodial accounts, it's called a Uniform Transfer to Minors Act in Nebraska. It's for kids under 21. Usually this is best for if it's the kids' money. If they're saving money and want to invest it, they can have a UTMA account. There's some tax advantages to it in that it's taxed in part at the kids' at the child's social security number, which if they're not making very much money or any money, that's okay. Again, that's better for if it's the kid's money rather than if it's a gift from you to the child, because assuming that you're going to give a significant amount of money to the child, whether it's 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever, when they reach age 21, it's their money and they can take it and do whatever with it. As we know, some children at age 21 are very responsible and some may not be. So more often than not, what our customers do if they want to save money or have money put aside for a child or a grandchild, particularly grandparents like me with Cody, is they put it in what's called a Section 529 college savings plan. And with that, the money gets put in there and it grows tax deferred, and as long as it's taken out for college, it's tax free, Hillary. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you put, let's say, whatever, $10,000 in there, you know, if I put $10,000, if I coughed up $10,000 for Cody and put it in a college savings plan, by the time Cody was college age, you know, that could be, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And if it had been in a regular account and we'd either have to be paying taxes all along or pay taxes on that growth, but that $10,000 to $30,000 or $40,000, if it's taken out and used for college for Cody, is tax free. So that's awesome. That's the big benefit of the 529 plans. What happens though, Hillary, if the kid doesn't go to college, if Cody doesn't go to college, if he invents something or just gets a job doing real well and he doesn't need the money for college because he's not going to college, or he gets a scholarship and doesn't need the money for college, what could happen to that money?
Is there a way he can transfer the money?
That's right. He can transfer the money to a Roth IRA.
Okay.
By the way, you have control, you, the donor of the money, have control over that money for college. It doesn't come out just because Cody wants it out, wants to get a Corvette with it or whatever.
Yeah.
But if the child doesn't use it for college, it could be converted into a Roth IRA, which is tax-free, which could grow and give him a really nice retirement. The other thing is if you have, you can change the beneficiary of a Section 529 college savings plan.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of cool. You heard me tell about this before, haven't you, Hillary?
It's too good. Yeah.
I have to tell.
I'm going to pretend like I never heard it.
Okay.
Because that's how much I like it.
Yeah. So let's say that you have 2 grandkids and one of them goes to Penn State, pretty good college. And it's not as good as Nebraska, but you'll see why in a second. One of them goes to Penn State and the other one goes to the state pen.
Yeah.
The one in the state pen is not going to need their college money.
Yeah.
Or for whatever other reason, you know,
right.
if one gets a scholarship and the other one doesn't, you can change the beneficiaries. And this isn't just for tuition, but it's books, housing, all kinds of stuff. So Section 529s are good things for saving money for kids and grandkids and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But like if you want to teach a child how to save money themselves, and it's their own money, then you go with a custodial account, etc. So
love it. The third thing in planning for prosperity is gifting and tax considerations. And so I'm gonna share this
screen
again and
go to the next slide.
Go.
Gotta go to the next.
I'm gonna go to the next slide, which is easily done.
Yeah. Anyway,
by clicking.
So if you
boom.
Some stuff to consider if you gift money to children or grandchildren or anybody else. You can gift up to $17,000 per person in 2023 with no consequences, no tax consequences. It's fine. Just give them 17. So if it's 2 people, like my wife and I, we could give $17,000 to Cody a
Mm.
piece. 17 times 2 is 34. We could give $34,000 to Cody and each of the other grandkids if we wanted to, without any tax considerations or gift tax or anything like that. So we would want to go now to the next slide.
Yep.
So
Just click.
if you're gifting over 17,000 or 34 for a couple, you have to file a thing called a gift tax return.
Okay.
A tax return that's called a gift tax return, a special tax return. But it doesn't mean you actually owe any tax on the gift. And that's because the gift tax and the estate tax are connected with each other. And so if you file a gift tax return, they're just going to keep track of, let's say that instead of giving Cody $17,000, I give him, if I had it, $117,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the 17,000 is, I'm allowed. The excess of 100 over that, what they do is the government keeps track, the IRS keeps track of that, and they reduce my future estate tax exemption amount by that $100,000. So right now, though, it's not too much to worry about because I have almost a $13 million estate tax exemption. Angela and I together, it'd be double that, 26 million. But, for really wealthy people, if they wanted to, they could give $1 million. Oops, I'm getting a phone call. They could give $1 million. And so instead of being able to leave 26 million for a married couple, they only be able to leave 25 million but most of our clients don't have that problem or that worry. But the fact that the key point I wanted to make is that yes, you have to file a gift tax return if you give over $17,000 per donee or per giftee, but you don't have to pay any tax on it. It's just going to reduce the amount you can leave tax-free, and it's not going to hurt anything for most people. So
love that. Did we go over 4 already? Gifted is tied together, current exclusion.
Yep.
All right, next.
So one thing though to keep in mind, if you are gifting what are called capital assets, which capital asset basically would be like a stock or a mutual fund or a piece of real estate. If you gift a capital asset to anybody, a relative or a son or grandson, grandchild, granddaughter, whatever, if you gift it while you're alive, they get your cost basis. So let's say you have a house that's worth $200,000 that you bought a long time ago for $50,000 and you want to give it to your granddaughter. If you give it to them while you're alive, that's all fine and dandy, no problem. But their cost basis when they eventually sell that property is going to be $50,000. If instead you leave it in your estate to them, they don't get it until you die. Their cost basis is the value on the date of your death. So it's something to consider for people that are thinking about that are want to give something to a son or grandson, whatever, grandchild, maybe before they die. It just depends. If you're pretty young, say 50, 60 years old, that's one thing. But if you're towards the end of your years, maybe 85 or 90, you might be better off just leaving it to that person in your estate rather than giving it to them today.
Yeah.
Because if you give it to them today, their cost basis in my example is going to be $50,000. If you wait until you pass away and you give it to them, the cost basis is $200,000. Basically, no tax on that gain from 50 to 200. Does that kind of make sense to you?
Totally makes sense.
It does. That's good.
It you're very good at explaining. Yes, layman's term, because I need that. Yeah. Yep.
So now we'll shift gears and talk about protection as far as family financial planning. And there's all kinds of areas to talk about it, protection, but we're going to talk about two. The first is an estate plan. And this person another person's calling me, but I'm not going to talk to them either. Maybe I should just maybe I should put this on do not disturb. How about that idea?
Android users,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Okay, sorry, folks. Anyway, the essential parts of an estate plan. The 5 I have written down here are: first, a revocable living trust.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Living will, to say when to pull the plug on you.
Yeah.
If you're a vegetable or whatever, or terminally ill, when to pull. Then there's 2 kinds of powers of attorneys, and those are abbreviated POA: power of attorney for assets and power of attorney for healthcare. Most people know what a power of attorney for healthcare is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that the power of attorney for healthcare, Hillary, is if I'm incapacitated, and you have and I've signed a thing that says you have the power of attorney for healthcare, you can make healthcare decisions for me if I'm incapacitated.
Yep.
I'm still alive. The power of attorney for assets is the same kind of thing. I'm incapacitated or incompetent, get the dementia, get the Alzheimer's. And in my case, my power of attorney for assets is my wife, Angela. And so, for instance, if I got incapacitated or Alzheimer's or something like that, she would have the ability to, and I'm still alive, she would have the ability to make withdrawals from my IRA to take care of me, for instance.
Perfect.
That's what those things are for.
Yeah.
A pour over will is the bottom thing there on that. And a pour over will is for if something has to go through the probate process. The intent of this revocable living trust is to avoid probate. But if something has to go through the probate process, a will is just a letter to the probate court. So a pour over will, part of an estate plan, says that if by accident something ends up going through the probate process, the pour over will says that the beneficiary is the revocable living trust, and so thus the successor trustee would be able to take care of it.
Love it. If you guys didn't already figure out, we're on the protection aspect of protecting your family. So
yeah. And I'm just a big believer in making sure you have your affairs in order, no matter what age you are, in case something happens. You don't have to be near the end of your life.
Yeah.
I've had a revocable living trust and an estate plan in place for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And because who knows? You never know.
It's one of those things. My parents are in their late 50s, and it probably should have had one for a long time. But it's just, for a lot of people, it's just another thing to do, and it just kind of seems like a thing. But I would say don't waste time if you're able to. Yeah. And you can always change and update things throughout the years if
That's true.
As time goes on. But
so that's why we call it a revocable living trust. And so here are some advantages of a revocable living trust. Number one, probably most important, is that it avoids the probate process. It avoids probate court if stuff is titled in the name of the trust. So Angela, my wife, and I have a trust. It's called the Benny Family Trust. She's a trustee and I'm a trustee. If something happens to her, I'm still a trustee and vice versa. After we're gone, though, there's a successor trustee, one of our children. And he or she is in charge of managing and distributing the estate according to our wishes in the trust after both of us are gone. The trust applies to stuff that's titled in the name of the trust, like our house, like our vehicles, like ultimately the corporation that's Bob Benny Wealth Management is owned by the trust, and so on and so forth. And so that's how it avoids probate, because probate happens if somebody dies and something is titled in their name.
Mm-hmm.
So the revocable living trust, because it's avoiding probate, is private. It has minimal expenses to settle the estate. We help our clients that are trustees settle their estates, minimal expenses. And it happens as quick as the successor trustee can make it happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, their parents, for instance, if they're the successor, if they're the successor trustee of their parents' trust, their parents just passed away, and there's obviously usually some mourning there or whatever, but they don't have to wait for the court or for the lawyers to settle the estate. Another thing a revocable living trust does is it provides for different circumstances like delayed distribution, if that's wanted. Like if you have little kids and you don't want them to get a big chunk of money as soon as they reach age of majority. You could have it where they get a third when they're 25, a third when they're 30, and a third when they're 35. You can do that with a trust. So those are some big benefits of a revocable living trust. And let's talk now about some things about a will. So if you have a will and all you have is a will, you're going through probate, and the will is just a letter to the probate judge. And so you're not going to have any privacy. Probate is a public process. People can go to the court hearing if they wanted to, but even worse than that, they can go to the courthouse and see all your documents. That as the asset, as the probate court process went through. There's significant attorney fees to go through probate and court costs and delays upon death. And then there's also no asset protection. So one of the greatest things that you can do to protect your family regarding financial matters and just in general is to have a proper estate plan with a revocable living trust, with a living will, with powers of attorney for healthcare and assets, and with a pour-over will. And we help people with that.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but we help people plan and organize their own estate plans with a revocable living trust and that sort of thing. I've done this for hundreds of people, and we'd be happy to help you with this. Any of you that are watching, or any of your friends, if you'd like to send them to us, because I'm a big believer in, because it seems to me like it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money if you end up making the probate court and probate attorneys if you have to go through that, you're basically making them beneficiaries of your estate.
Right.
And I bet if you have something that you have to write down beneficiary designations like life insurance or an IRA, that you don't write, I've never seen anybody write down unknown probate attorney. 5% or anything like that. So anyway, we're all about trying to help people manage their finances right.
Oh yeah. Yep. And we've had people come through that maybe their spouse, all they had was a will, and then it went to probate, and it was in probate for like 2 years. And so it can be a mess. It can be a mess. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so we're happy. Jesse and I are happy to answer questions of anybody that you or your friends or family that want to talk about that. So.
Yeah, definitely. What do we got next?
Stop share is what we got first.
Stop share, yes.
So let's before we go to this screen, we'll go back to this screen.
Yeah.
And they can see us big. So anyway.
They missed us in
the other thing, element of protection that I wanted to talk about a little bit in this webinar is life insurance. And sometimes I find that people have life insurance sometimes that they don't need, that sort of thing. I run across that some. So go ahead and let's show them the slide on life insurance, please. So there you go. So there's three things three questions I'm gonna address. One is who needs life insurance, how to decide how much you need, and term versus permanent life insurance. So who needs life insurance? Not everybody needs life insurance. I used to need it and I don't need it now, for instance. So people need life insurance when they're younger and have a family, and their death would cause a financial catastrophe to their family. I'll use myself as an example. I used to have life insurance some time ago. we have 4 children. My wife, Angela, was a stay-at-home mom. I was the sole breadwinner, and my death would cause a financial catastrophe to Angela and the 4 children. So I bought a large term life insurance policy to provide for them in case something happened to me.
Yeah.
With the idea being that after a certain period of time that I projected, one, the kids would be grown and out of the house, or nearly grown and out of the house. And 2, my net worth, our net worth would be large enough that my death would not cause a financial catastrophe for Angela. And so that's how it's worked out. And that's why I don't have life insurance anymore. Because life insurance is not an efficient investment.
Right.
You use it for, like my example, to insure against the financial catastrophe of the death of someone, or on the other end of the spectrum, you use it for somebody that has a super duper high estate, big estate, over for like an individual 13 million, or for a married couple $26 million. You can use life insurance to protect against having to pay federal estate taxes, or to pay federal estate taxes.
Right.
And most of our clients aren't in that situation, but that is a great way of using life insurance to save tax money, estate tax money and income tax money, is if you have a very large estate. So that's who needs life insurance.
Yeah.
Really, really wealthy people, and people that are younger that could have a financial catastrophe if they die. So how to decide how much you need? Obviously, that's going to be in your estate situation, how much your estate is worth versus the exemption amount. We calculate that and figure that out for you. And if you're in the younger situation where your death would cause a financial catastrophe to your family, we help you figure out, how to replace your income or that sort of thing. And so that's just on a case-by-case basis, but that's relatively easy. So what's question number 3?
Should I get term life insurance or permanent life insurance?
Great question. Thank you for asking. So
nervous.
So the difference between term and permanent life insurance is where, like what I had, where it was like a 15-year level term. And I applied for it and stuff, and they said, okay, here's your rate, Bob. Maybe it was $1 million death benefit policy, and my my premium was, I don't know, $2,000 a year. Level for 15 years. And then after 15 years, I could renew it, but the rate would be real high. But I already had it planned out that after 15 years, I'm probably not going to need it. So that's how the longer I set up. But term life insurance is for a certain period of time, like 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and the premium is set. Permanent life insurance is kind of also, and so term life insurance is for the protecting against the financial catastrophe of a breadwinner or that sort of a situation. Permanent life insurance would be the type of life insurance that we would use if somebody needed to use it for estate protection, because they, or to avoid having to pay or minimize the amount of estate taxes that they have to pay.
Sure.
Then you would use permanent life insurance, because you don't know exactly when somebody's going to pass, because you're going to have that life insurance in place when you die, and you don't know how long. So that's the difference there. And
you only use life insurance. I mean, you only get that money back after you pass to whomever, right? You wouldn't use life insurance, obviously, as you're alive.
Well, some people do that, and some insurance people kind of encourage people to take loans against their permanent life insurance policy. Most people don't need permanent life insurance. Like I just said, I think in being a certified financial planner, I think the main purpose for any kind of a permanent life insurance policy is for if they're using it because they have a large estate to protect against estate taxes. that's the, you know,
Term would be the better.
term
for
would be the
most-
better, like for most
people, sure.
to
sure.
take care of a financial catastrophe of a breadwinner passing away. That's what you would use is term life insurance.
That's good.
So anyway, we just thank you for attending. We want to help families. Jesse and I and everybody here that works for us, Hillary and Lori and Trevor, we're all about trying to help people and help families with any kind of thing we can, whether it's their investments, their estate plan, income tax strategies, or even just helping them figure out how to allocate their 401ks. That's a service that we provide for free. So can we check, do we have any
Let's
questions?
see.
I don't think we do.
Nope, no
We
questions.
don't have any questions, but we are grateful that you attended.
Yeah.
And this is apropos, I forgot to say, this is Thanksgiving time, just
Oh,
about
yeah,
a week
yeah,
from now is
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Literally a week from today.
Yeah, so we're very thankful and grateful, and we're thankful for your attendance in the webinar today. I'm thankful for Jesse and Cody and Trevor and all my other
Same.
grandkids. I'm thankful for Hillary, and I could go on and on. I'm a very thankful man, and I hope that you are too, and that you have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everybody.